How does South Africa accept technology as far as the rest of the world is concerned? Are we up there?
South Africa is certainly up there from a technology acceptance perspective, and if we focus on today's conference, South African farmers are very technology savvy, and I think are as good as any farmers in other parts of the world.
There's a lot of GM crop nonsense talked, and some of it not so nonsense.
Yes.
It obviously lies in your court, that one.
Exactly.
What have you got to say about that particular situation?
So, GM crops have been adapted widely around the world. We've done research on GM crops for about 30 years now. They've been commercialized for about 17 years in 30 different countries. And they're probably the most studied food, and studied more than conventional food that you eat. And as far as I'm concerned, and as far as our company is concerned, we're only bringing products to the market that help productivity and are perfectly safe for human and animal consumption. We've done a good job as a company of interacting and engaging with our partners in the industry and with farmers, but we have not done a good job in explaining to the public, to the consumer, what GM technology is all about. So that's something that we're really lifting our efforts in today, and we're going to be engaging much more with the consumer going forward.
One of the biggest problems, of course, is crop loss through vermin and through rot and worm and so on. Now, it doesn't seem to have quite cured that problem, Monsanto, yet.
Well, I think our products certainly do help against insect attacks, both above the ground and below ground, and we're continually trying to bring better products to the market. Insects do, over time, become resistant to some of our technology, and we're developing new technology to increase the durability of our products.
We cannot afford to do without the commercial farmer.
Correct.
We can't take land away that's producing food that we need for food security. Yet we have an aspirant black farmer coming through. How does Monsanto look at that particular scenario?
So very carefully, and we certainly see a grain production system where big corporate farms or big farmers can work side by side with smallholder farmers in alleviating poverty or helping towards food security in the country. So we're certainly developing products that are scale neutral, that a small farmer can use as easily as a big farmer can use.
Because there's more land available in Africa than anywhere else in the world.
Yes.
And there might be different products that can be grown on these different parts, but it exists there. So your emerging market really is the new farmer coming through.
Correct. I have responsibility for the whole of Africa from a technology perspective, and we're now really focusing on other parts of Africa. We have a focus on East Africa and a newer focus on West Africa, and I think we've learned a lot in some of our Asian markets, and we will bring a lot of our learnings from our Asian, which are also smallholder farmers, to Africa.
I go back to that black aspirant farmer because that's the unique situation here after the days of apartheid and so on. 20 years later, we still don't have that prolific amount of black newcomer farmer, probably because of capital expenditure and ownership of land. Mm-hmm. But again, how do you approach that kind of market?
I think it needs to be a holistic approach. As I said, Monsanto is only one arrow in the quiver, for example. We need to have government policies in place. We need to be working with partners in partnership with people and uplifting them and making sure that we identify the issues that they have and try to help them with those issues.
Bit of a loaded question to end on this one. How do you see the future in South Africa for the agricultural industry?
So I think just like everywhere else in the world, we're going to have rising populations. The demand for food is going to grow. The demand for protein is going to grow, and that's where grain farmers really help from a grain perspective, where animals are going to be eating more grain. In South Africa, the situation is a little different, where a large portion of the grain production actually goes to human consumption. But I think we can keep food secure in South Africa.